Hey guys, have you ever had an interaction with a woman that is seemingly doing well, but then it goes cold? What happened? You didn't build a connection. How do you get this connection? Better yet, how do you keep this connection? That's what we're gonna go deep on today. We've got a lot to get to, so let's hop in. All right, guys, so when it comes to building a connection, one of the most powerful factors and tactics that you can use to really have that connection, that bond starting to grow, to make sure that, hey, she's into you, you're into her, and you can continue to move this forward, okay? And that thing is P.E.S. What is P.E.S, right? Look, P.E.S is psychological emotional stimulus, all right? We're about to get kind of scientific on this one a little bit, all right? So here's the deal. With P.E.S, or psychological emotional stimulus, what we're talking about is tapping into the part of her mind that is going to build that connection. What you really want is an emotional roller coaster, all right? And on that roller coaster, you're gonna have peaks, you're gonna have valleys, but it's all exciting, all right? Because if you could take her on this emotional journey with you, it's like anything else, man. You know, if you were in a car accident and you survived it with another passenger in that car, say you got hit by a bus and the car rolls over a bunch of times and then they come and rescue you, you're probably gonna feel a little closer bond with that person. Now, obviously, that's an extreme example, and I'm not recommending, hey girl, get into my car, we're about to go get hit by a train. You know, that's probably not a good maneuver to probably go out and do. But the point remains the same. Look, you're going through something that is psychological, something that is emotional, and it's activating stimuli inside of the old nugget. And this is a huge factor inside of the book, The Psychology of Modern Flirting, The Attraction Ladder. And that's what we've been talking about in this video series. But here's the deal. If you really want to go deep on it, I highly suggest you download the book. Hopefully there's something floating right here. If not, it's gonna be in the description, and you can have a free downloadable copy that's gonna show you the attraction ladder rung by rung by rung by rung, and you can eliminate all that. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know where to go from here. I'm lost. I feel like I'm out in the wilderness and I don't know what's going on. I don't know north from south, east from west. Look, this is gonna be a roadmap for you. So is that you can get out there and you can start attracting the women into your life that you want to have be there. And you could start building out a social circle that works for you. Maybe you could start going to high value events, you know, all this fun stuff. Get to know friends that are high value friends. And guess what? You'll be one too. So that's the importance of downloading that book. It's 100% free, all right? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I just flew in from Los Angeles, and boy, are my arms tired. That is absolutely absurd. But here's the thing, right? Humor is a huge factor inside of P.E.S. If you can get her laughing, if you can get her invested in what it is that you have to say because she's having a good time. Look, especially if you go to a place that is a high energy environment, right? Such as, you know, a club, a bar that's popping, maybe a concert, anything like that that's high energy. You know, people are there to have a good time. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't be funny or show a sense of humor at the library, because you absolutely can. But it's gonna be a little more expected, and people are already wanting to have a good time. So why not add value to this experience of interacting with you by giving them that good time that they're seeking so desperately, and you can deliver it to them because you're right there, right? So that's the thing. So here's the deal, guys. You don't have to be a stand-up comedian. You don't have to be a clown. You don't have to be a dancing bear, but you should show that you have a good sense of humor with well-timed wit. But here's the deal. Stay to the end of the video, because I'm gonna break down a story, something that happened to me, where I ended up roping this into a threesome based on this very principle. Okay? So make sure that you stick around for that. But when we're talking about humor, it's like some people feel like you either have it or you don't. You know, it just, hey, look, you know, it's not really something that you can work on or something like that. And I would beg to differ. If you're more of a serious guy, there's nothing wrong with being a serious guy, okay? Not inherently, but you should be able to show that you have a different side of you, that you're not just one-dimensional, that you're a 3D type of guy that can show different sides of your personality. And humor is one of those things that you should really put yourself out there to do. Again, it's not about being a stand-up comedian. It's not about being a clown, okay? But it is about showing emotional intelligence. Again, we're talking about P.E.S, right? So the psychological emotional stimuli that's happening is she's bonding with you. She's connecting with you. How many times have you seen a woman talking about one of her turn-ons is a guy that can make her laugh? Now, you shouldn't be going out of your way to make her laugh, because now that does make you a comedian, all right? But what you really want to demonstrate here is wit and timing. Have you ever been in a situation where you're in a group of people and somebody says something and you've got a really good comeback or a really good retort or something to add on to that you know is really funny? But somebody jumps in real quick, then somebody else jumps in real quick, and now the moment's kind of lost. And then if you try to force it, maybe you've done this, I've done it before, where you try to force it in, now it's just not really that funny. Why? Because the timing has passed. All right, now look, comedic timing is something that has to be worked on. All right, if you're just not naturally funny, if you're just not naturally a, humorous guy, the timing part of it might be an issue for you. And that's why I'm gonna give you some actionable advice, all right? God forbid you leave my YouTube channel. I want you to stay on all day, okay? But there are other things on YouTube, obviously, that you can watch. And so go watch your favorite stand-up comedians. If you don't have any, there's all kinds of compilations of stand-up comedians. Watch them, but don't watch just out of the entertainment factor. Watch what they're doing. When that timing strikes, when they're hitting that punchline, oftentimes when they're being funny and when they're telling a joke, it's really misdirection, right? Watch for that. Watch for the misdirection where you think the story or the joke is going one way and then it makes a hard left, okay? Watch for that. Another thing too is watch when they bring it back around again. So they might be talking early on in the stand-up special or whatever about one thing, then they start talking about other stuff, right? One thing kind of leads into the next and blends into the next, and then they segue right back to that original thing. Why? Why do they do that? Well, it's because you've already laughed at it, you already understand it, and again, it's a misdirection because you didn't think it was gonna come right full circle, right back to what they were originally talking about. So make sure that you look for that. Another part of humor and wit, sarcasm. Look, if she says something to you to the effect of,
oh, I don't usually date guys that are as short as you.
If you're a shorter guy. She's probably not gonna say that to me because I'm a taller guy, but if you're a shorter guy, look, you may have heard that before, okay? So what can you do to counteract that and make it funny at the same time? Sarcasm. You may say in response to that, I don't usually date short guys either. But anyway, like I was saying, and go right back into what you were saying. Show that you're not reactive, okay? And we're gonna talk about that in a second. But here's the deal too. Facial expressions. You may not even have to say anything. Just the way that you express yourself may be enough, okay? So if she says something to the effect of,
I don't usually date guys as old as you.
You might go, but anyway, and then go right back into what you were saying. Just do like a very sarcastic, over-exaggerated eye roll, or something like that. Or just give her a look like, that way you show you don't care, it's funny, and you can keep it moving, all right? Another thing is, look, oftentimes it's not about what you say, but how you say it. I'm gonna say it one more time. It's not about what you say a lot of times, it's how you say it, all right? For instance, what I just said right then, I could say it like this. It's not about what you say, it's how you say it. Or I could say it, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. See, every which way that I say this, it has a little bit of a different tone to it. It has a little bit different of a reaction that you're going to get from it. And it's just going to land differently. Just on how you express yourself. And that's in part what makes something funny. Now, what I said wasn't really funny per se, but nonetheless, if you, like, okay, here's an example. Say she says something to you like,
"Oh, I don't usually date guys as short as you." Or, "I don't usually date guys as young as you." Or,
whatever, right? You could just mock her and say it right back to her. "Oh, I don't usually date guys as short as you." Anyway, like I was saying, right? And now it's gonna be playful, it's fun, and it's funny. And the bottom line here too is, and this is really, really key, so listen up to this, guys. I'm telling you, this will make or break the humor part of this. Do not look for a reaction. You know what you have to say is funny. Whether they laugh or not is inconsequential, okay? You know it's funny. And so therefore, when you say something, keep it rolling. Don't like, you ever see like these old time comedians where it's like they deliver a line and it's like, right? Like everything you say should have that little drum roll after it. Okay, no, that's not the case at all. What you should be doing is say what you have to say and keep it moving. They're gonna laugh because it's funny. And it shows that you don't really care all that much about what their reaction is. And that's always a good look. All right, we're gonna get into the next one. Let's get it. Number 2, P.E.S tests. Okay, what is a P.E.S test? All right, in the last one we talked about humor and wit and sarcasm and all those types of things, which is great for building P.E.S. All right, but here's the deal. Remember what we talked about before, an emotional roller coaster. See, I don't want it to just be all high. Okay, I want it to be peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys, peaks and valleys. All right, so here's the thing. How am I going to take her from that emotional high and start to crescendo down into the valley? That's where P.E.S tests come into play. All right, a P.E.S test is any kind of psychological game, any kind of personality test, anything that shows that you know more about her than she knows about herself. And that is a powerful frame to come from. I mean powerful, okay? Because here's the deal. When you know more about her than she knows about herself, what does that say? That shows that you can have dominion over her world, that you are intuitive, that you get her. Everybody in life wants to be understood. They want to feel like people get them, okay? And if you can show in a short amount of time, you get her, but she doesn't quite get you yet, that is a powerful, powerful, powerful dynamic that you can use to your advantage, okay? Me personally, I like to do things that deal with somewhat of the supernatural. Again, you'll see in the story that I tell you a little bit later in the video how that came to work out very well for me, okay? But I like to use things that are psychological, things that are part of spirituality, the paranormal, things like that. That's just me. That doesn't mean that that's what you have to do. I say it all the time. As long as you understand the principles behind why something works, you can generate your own type of either P.E.S test, humor, anything. Starting a conversation, all the things that we've talked about in the attraction ladder thus far. If you understand the principle behind it, you can use your own personality to make it work for you. Why? Because it's you. You're not me. I'm not you. And that's a good thing, okay? So I am going to give you one little thing though, okay, that kind of deals with some of the stuff that I do, and I think that it can work very well for you. So feel free to steal it, okay? Horoscopes. Now, here's the thing. We've all seen this, it's, since like the 70s, what's your sign? That kind of thing, right? Rather than asking that, what I like to say is something like, you're an Aquarius, aren't you? And here's the deal. I'm making a cold read statement about her. Okay, now, you don't have to even know horoscopes. All you really need to know is your own. Whatever you are, I'm a Capricorn, okay? I couldn't tell you any of the other ones, what birthday lines up with this and which ones are supposed to go together and how that works with the Chinese zodiac and how the Chinese zodiac and the Chinese New Year birth, some other thing that's like that. I don't know, okay? But what I do know is my own, and that's all you need to know. Because here's the deal. I know what my own personal characteristics and my own personal traits are. And so what I'm gonna say to her is something to the effect of, you strike me as an Aquarius. I'm right, aren't I? Now you got a 1 in 12 chance of being right, okay? So you're not likely to be right statistically, but every once in a while. She's going to say, no, actually I'm a Virgo. Like, you know, you have a lot of Aquarius type of characteristics to you. I can see it just in our short little interaction here. You know, you have a lot of adventurous spirit to you. I'm picking up on that. I can also see that you like to march to the beat of your own drum a little bit, that you like to take some risks and take some chances in life. And I think that's cool. I'm like that too. Now I'm a Capricorn, but I still have those characteristics to me. Bam. Now you see what I did there? That is P.E.S. It's making her feel like I know more about her and I'm intuitive enough to know more about her than she knows about herself, okay? And what it demonstrates too is we're alike. Commonalities are a thing, man. That's how you build connection, ultimately, are commonalities. We've all heard the expression, opposites attract. That's true to a degree, okay? But by and large, if you have zero in common with a girl, it's probably not gonna go anywhere, all right? And that's the harsh reality, man. It's probably not gonna go anywhere, all right? So that's the thing. So make sure that if you go to do this, that you actually are trying to be intuitive and trying to pick out things out of her personality and parrot them back to her. And you know, the thing is, a lot of guys really struggle with this type of thing because they've never really seen it in action. They've never really had somebody walk them through it in person and demonstrate it for them and show them how to do it and get them out there to do it themselves and tell them what they're doing correctly and incorrectly. And a lot of guys just have a hard time with their blind spots because you don't know what you don't know, right? So one of the ways that you can really get around that is working with us in person. Look, man, I'm gonna be in Austin, Texas, May 13th through the 15th. All right, and so if you're in the Austin area, link up with me. If not, you wanna make the trip, let's go. It's gonna be well worth it because that weekend is going to be something that is gonna be monumental in your life because not only are we gonna work on you with your sticking points and overcoming those sticking points in a weekend, but it's a lifetime thing, man, because we are going to hold you accountable for that motivation moving forward. A lot of guys go to boot camps, and what happens is after the boot camp, life slaps them in the face and they're back in the same old rut. And so we don't want that to happen to you. So me, Jared Syke Lawrence, we're gonna be in Austin, May 13th through the 15th. Get at me. My contact information is in the description. Let's go. Let's make a real transformative experience in your life. Number 3, games. All right, again, man, with this P.E.S, look, peaks and valleys, right? So what did we do, man? We started off with something fun. We're talking about humor, which you can obviously sprinkle that in throughout the course of an entire interaction. And I would argue that that's a good thing for you to do, right? But you took her into the valley with maybe a horoscope, maybe some other psychological test, all right? So here's the deal. How are we gonna come right back out of this? We're gonna play a game. All right, so any kind of like bar bet game, anything like that will work, all right? But I'm gonna give you one that is my absolute favorite one to do. And by the way, if you want more tactics like these and more ways to interact with women, more ways to build up your professional life, get a social circle going, and network with guys all over the world, I fully encourage you to check out the Modern Flirting Facebook group. All right, look, we're gonna link it up in the description. all you got to do is go. You have nothing to lose, all right? Just become a member of the group. And when you're there, you can ask whatever question you want. There's going to be myself, Jared, Jamie, J-Mac, Cosmo, any one of the coaches are going to help you handle whatever struggles that you are encountering, okay? And plus, there's just a bunch of free content in there. It's really dope. But here's the deal. The game that I like the best, and I have won my weight in free drinks with this game, is called the 5 Questions Game, all right? This is also really good for if a girl challenges you and says something to the effect of, oh, buy us drinks, buy us shots. Okay, now this is what I'll say. And again, remember what we talked about earlier. It's often how you say it, not what you say. All right, so if I get that challenge or something like that, I'm gonna say something to the effect of, tell you what, let's play a little game. If you beat me, I'll buy you 2. I'll buy you 2 drinks. You beat me, you have to buy me 1. All right, is that fair? And look, I've only lost this game, I think 5 or 6 times in my entire life. I'm about 10,006. I think that's what my record is, all right? So I've done this a lot of times. It works very, very, very well. All right, so what I'm gonna ask her to do is, okay, look, I'm gonna ask you 5 questions. All you have to do is lie for each of these questions. If you can do that, I'll get you 2 drinks. Fair enough? She's like, okay, sounds good. All right, so if you're playing along at home, I want you to follow this. Make sure you follow this, because if you fuck it up, it's your own fault, all right? You're gonna be buying drinks all over town. All right, so here's the deal. The first question I'm gonna ask is generally something that, we both know the answer to. The name of the place that we're at, whatever city we're in, whatever state we're in, okay? Things that we both know the answer to, all right? So I'm gonna ask her, what state are we in? And as I stand right now, I'm in Detroit, Michigan, all right? So say I'm up the street and she's like, California. Okay, all right. Second question. Again, I'm gonna ask her something that we all know the answer to. What is the color of my shirt? She looks it over. Oh, it's gray. So she's likely to say something like, it's blue. Okay, all right, I got you. All right, you're doing good, All right, 2 down, all right. The third question, now for the third question, I always ask her, what is her name? All right, and I'll explain why in a second. So I ask her, what's her name? We'll say her name is Lisa. And she tells me her name is, so what's your name? And she says, my name is Bob. Okay, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna clown her for her response. So if she says Bob, or really any name that she says, I'm gonna start making jokes and I'm gonna get off track, all right? So she says Bob, oh, you would say that. That's your guy name. I bet you that when you were born, if you were to be born a boy, that your parents were going to name you Bob. Not even Robert, just Bob. Kind of a Bob vibe to you. I can kind of see that. Oh, shut up. No, I don't. Yeah, you kind of do. I can see it. There's nothing wrong with the name Bob. For you, kind of, it is, but, so you see where I'm going with this. I'm teasing her, I'm joking around, playfully, obviously, and what I'm trying to do is divert the attention away. Remember earlier when we talked about humor, and a lot of humor is misdirection. That's what you're going for here. I'm misdirecting the conversation to start talking about this name, clowning on this name, getting off track. So then I'm going to ask her, which is question number 4, by the way. Shit, how many questions was that? And then she's going to probably say, oh, we did 3 questions already. Boom, you owe me a drink, okay? So because we got off track and I acted like I forgot where we were and I throw that question out there, how many questions was that? Boom. That's where you get them, okay? Now, here's the thing. you may find a girl who is clever. I mean, it happens, okay? Especially a girl that's very socialized, very attractive, typically, are quite sharp. All right, so she may get you, and she might say, that was 17. And she's gonna say it all smug because she knows what you're up to, she knows what you're doing, and she's gonna be really, really smug about it. That was 17 questions. You thought you got me. All right, so my response to that is be like, oh, dang it. Yup, you know what? You got me. You got me. You played this before, haven't you? Question number 5. You played this before, haven't you? And she's gonna say, no. Boom, that's 5. You owe me a drink. All right, so again, rewatch this, rewind the beginning of this point if you didn't really get it. But here's the deal. If you do that time and time again, I'm telling you, it will land so well. And you're not likely to get beat sometimes. Like I said, I've been beat 6 times, and I seemingly do this game, I don't know, a few times a week. And I've been doing it for years. So, that's what it is. So that's the deal. Try it out, have fun with it, and you will up that P.E.S. Let's get into the next one. Number 4, commonalities. Look, having something in common with somebody is super intoxicating, all right? Think of it like this. If you have ever been out of your town, you're on a vacation, you're maybe on a boot camp with me in Austin, Texas, May 13th through the 15th, all right? Maybe you're doing that. But say you're from New York, and here you are in Texas. What happens when you run into somebody who is from your town? You feel an immediate connection with that person. Why? Because you have shared experiences. Oh, did you ever go to this place? Oh, did you try that place out over there on that street? All that kind of thing. There's a common bond that you already feel with that person. And so when you're interacting with a woman, it's no different than that. Okay, so like, for example, say I'm throwing out a cold read, which brings me to the first point here, making a statement about her. Because how are you gonna find those commonalities? Well, I'm gonna make a statement, and if I hit on it, even if I miss, if I find out what that commonality is, then we can go a little bit further. So I'm gonna throw something out like, hey, you strike me like a punk rock kind of girl, like maybe you like the Dead Kennedys or the Ramones or something like that, but that's kind of the vibe I'm picking up on. And then she may say to me, no, actually I'm into old school hip hop. Really? See, because that's what I'm about, okay? That's where I come from. So now we have something in common. Now I might have some follow-up questions with her, such as, might be like, really? Well, okay, I gotta ask you this then. Who's your top 5 MCs? And now we're having a conversation about that. So I'm asking a few follow-up questions. You ever see this person live? That type of thing. Now, here's what you don't want to do. Don't milk it. You already struck oil, man. You don't need to keep drilling. Have a few follow-up questions, but don't just continue to milk the conversation till it runs dry and there's really nowhere else to go with it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start sharing things from my experience with that. So if she's into old school hip hop, I'm gonna say something like, you have no idea about my history with hip hop, all right? So check this out. One time I was at this show and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's the thing. Now I'm gonna start sharing from my experience. And by the way, guys, if you're feeling this video, if you're getting a lot out of it, give me one of these. But most importantly, share it with somebody that you know needs to see it. That's the most important thing, because what I would love to see happen is guys who need this kind of information, getting it and improving on themselves. All right, let's get into the next one. Let's go. Number 5, storytelling. If you have been watching this channel for any length of time, you know what a big advocate I am of storytelling. Why? Because you can't unhear things. An example that I love to use is this. All right, guys, no matter what, under any circumstances, do I want you to think of a pink elephant? Don't think of one. Just don't ever think of a pink elephant. What happened? You know what happened. I know what happened. Everybody watching this video knows what happened. You thought of a pink elephant. Why? Because you can't unhear things, right? And that's the power of storytelling. If you're able to paint a vivid picture in her mind of whatever it is that you're telling her, now mind you, it should be a well-told story. And it doesn't have to be some big tale of adventure, all right? Notice I said well-told, not a crazy tale of adventure, okay? You can make a story out of anything. The most mundane thing ever, I could make a very well-told story about, all right? But here's the thing. If you tell one, look, what's gonna happen is she's gonna be able to envision it from her perspective. She's gonna be living in your shoes for a little bit. It's going to build that connection and build that P.E.S. because she's gonna be able to feel the emotions of what happened if you communicate the emotions of what happened. So speaking of storytelling, I'm gonna tell you a quick little story about how P.E.S., everything that we've been talking about in this video, how it came together for me. All right, so one time I was out and about and I happened to go to this particular Irish bar that I used to like to frequent sometimes in an area of where I live. It's kind of a cool, poppin' little part of town. And I always like going there. It's always a good time. They always got things going on like trivia or karaoke and whatnot. And I like doing that kind of stuff. So I go in there and I'm sitting down. And now here's the thing. I'm going to give you a little side note tip. Me personally, I love to flirt with, kick it with, have an interaction with servers, bartenders, strippers, hostesses, basically women that are hired to be somewhere based on the fact that they're attractive. That's my personal strength, and that's what I like to do. And if you do that, go on an off night when it's not that busy. Pro tip. So anyway, that's what I did. It was like a Tuesday night or something like that. And I go in there and my server, very attractive girl, and she had nothing else going on, man. Like, it was dead in there. So it made her night just to have a fun interaction. Even if it wasn't gonna go anywhere, which it did, but even if it wasn't going to, at least she had a good time. It wasn't mundane, normal conversation. It was fun, it was interesting. And I spiked the P.E.S. level by humor, which we talked about. I did some P.E.S. tests with her, played some games with her, commonalities, everything that we talked about. But the main thing was, with the P.E.S. tests, I did some palm reading. I did some mind reading exercise with her, and it blew her reality away. Remember earlier when I talked about how you want to show that you know more about her than she knows about herself? That's exactly what was at play here. Now, what ended up happening was her best friend / roommate was also working at this bar on this particular dead night. So she gets her friend over, and so now the three of us are talking. And I end up getting both of their phone numbers, and I didn't even have the opportunity to text her first. It was like the very next day. She sends me a text, and she was like, "Hey, Dale, do you have some time to talk sometime today?" And I was like, "Sure, just give me a call whenever, and I'll be around." So she calls me. She starts telling me that her and her roommate's house is haunted, and asked me if I knew how to do a seance because of all the mystical, magical stuff that we were doing that spiked all that P.E.S. level. All right, and so what happened was, I was like, absolutely, I know how to do a seance. So I go over there and we do this seance, and eventually what ended up happening was we ended up having a threesome. All right, it was great. Okay, and when I'm working with somebody one-on-one, or I'm coaching somebody, or I'm at a boot camp, or whatever the case might be, or they're a part of the VIP Social Blueprint program, which if you want more information on that, we'll link it up in the description. All you got to do is just click the link, check it out, see if it's for you. But here's the deal. Whenever I'm working with somebody like that, this is one of the things I'm really trying to drive home, is building that connection via P.E.S. All right? So look, guys, if you want to really know how this works outside of just watching this video, download the Attraction Ladder. Download the Psychology of Modern Flirting, the Attraction Ladder book. It's linked up. All you got to do is download it and read it. It's 100% free, man. You have nothing to lose. If you read it and you're like, this is nonsense, fine. What did you really lose? Okay? But I'll make a deal with you. If you read it, I want to hear from you and tell me what you got out of it. Okay? And if you got something good out of it, let's have a conversation about it. All right? I think that would be the best thing that you could possibly do when it comes to building out a social circle, attracting the type of women into your life that you want to have there. Okay? So that's the deal, guys. I'm Dale Valor, Modern Flirting. We'll see you in the next one.